Well, it certainly has been a while since we've been here on YouTube, but I've come back just to do a little video about my opinions on the state of the wrestling business. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty embarrassed to be a pro wrestling fan right now. I can't even talk about it. I haven't watched pro wrestling since probably mid-April, and that's completely honest. I've watched maybe 5 minutes of Impact. I haven't ordered any of their pay-per-views. And there's a reason for that. I'm embarrassed to be a wrestling fan because their show's embarrassing. Mainstream wrestling is embarrassing. I've got my Ring of Honor t-shirt on right now because they're not embarrassing. They have respect for this business, and it shows. Every single week when Ring of Honor on HDNet is over, I have something to talk about. I have something to look forward to. You know, it's just a shame that we don't have more of it out there right now. Right now, Ring of Honor doesn't have a pay-per-view deal. Hopefully in the future they will. And I will support them fully because, like I said, they're out there to wrestle. They're about professional wrestling. They are a true alternative to what we see on Spike TV and USA. Now, as far as some of TNA's problems, I think we've all went over this many times on what TNA's problems are. Let's talk a little bit about the solution to TNA's problems. Well, how about replacing the creative team? You got Jeff, you got Dutch, you got Vince. All guys that are in their middle-aged, trying to write for an 18 to 34 demographic. And you wonder why you can't convert even a tenth of your audience. You can't even get a tenth of your audience to buy the pay-per-view. You know? Yeah, pro wrestling has no buzz right now. Pay-per-view buys are low across the board. You want to look at WWE's pay-per-view buys? They're horrifically low. 185,000 for Backlash, wasn't it? That's internationally. What about domestically? What about here in the States? No one's interested in pro wrestling right now. And you know what? It's pro wrestling's fault. Because they're going back to what's familiar. They're not trying to make their show better. Because if they were, we might see something innovative. We might see something fresh. We might see something new. And I'm not talking about office keys on a pole. I'm sick and tired of the gimmick matches. What made TNA different was the young influx of talent. Talent, true talent. Guys that could go out there and give you a match like you had never seen before, that gave you respect for pro wrestling. See, now you don't see that. You get guys like AJ Styles, who's phenomenal in the ring, but when's the last time you talked about an AJ Styles match? See, I remember talking about AJ Styles when he faced Petey Williams at Victory Road, TNA's first 3-hour pay-per-view. I remember talking about AJ Styles when he faced Samoa Joe. I remember talking about AJ Styles when they had their, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels. I remember talking about AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels versus LAX. I remember talking about a lot of things. But TNA has taken a downward spiral because now you don't get those guys to show their true potential in that ring. You don't get those guys pushing themselves to the limit, giving something for the fans to talk about, something for the fans to look forward to. You get AJ Styles versus someone in the Main Event Mafia. You get Samoa Joe versus someone in the Main Event Mafia. Of course, now Samoa Joe is in the Main Event Mafia. I think it's stupid. You get all the young talent caught up with the Main Event Mafia. The Main Event Mafia is TNA's version of the NWO. It's horrible. It's a waste of time. What do you get by giving those big money contracts to a guy like Kevin Nash who can only work 3 or 4 dates a month? They can't go out there and bust his ass in the ring anymore and has to make the young guys slow dance with him and slow down their style and affect their career and affect their legacy because he can't go in the ring anymore. What about Scott Steiner? Same deal. How much you paying Scott Steiner? Take a backstage role, buddy. You suck. You suck in the ring. You've sucked in the ring since 2003 when you came back to the WWE. Yet TNA still puts him on television. What do you get from Scott Steiner? Nothing. What do you get from Sting? Let's be honest. We're being honest, aren't we? Sting, very picky about the dates that he works. I have a lot of respect for Sting. I have a lot of respect for his contributions, but what has he done? What new stars has he brought to the table? He helped out TNA when TNA really needed it. I do appreciate it. They're now on Spike TV. They now have a 2-hour deal. They no longer need you to be in the spotlight. Now they can have young guys face young guys and make new stars off of that, because that's how AJ Styles became a star. That's how Samoa Joe became a star. That's how Christopher Daniels became a star. They didn't become a star because they faced Kevin Nash. They didn't become a star because, they faced Scott Steiner. Samoa Joe became a star because of the things he could do in that ring, and Kurt Angle did help elevate him to that next level. I will admit that. Kurt Angle can still wrestle. Kurt Angle is still the man. Kurt Angle can still perform up to a very high standard. Replace the creative team, please, for the love of God. Like I said, you've got middle-aged men riding for an 18 to 34 demographic. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You're paying people a salary to write this crap? I mean, Doug and I could sit at home and give you ideas for free. Better ones than what's coming off on TV right now, I'll tell you that much. You should be embarrassed about what you see on your television. I mean, if you come out of a meeting and all you can get is that? Are you serious? Is that what's creative and innovative and fresh and new that's going to get a new audience for you? There's a reason you're doing $7 tickets at Slammiversary. It's not because you're trying to be nice to the wrestling fan and celebrate 7 years of TNA. It's because you can't fill up the arena. Let's be honest. And if I have to sit and see Sting main event another Bound for Glory, I guarantee you I won't be seeing it, because contrary to the popular belief, a lot of people think that, well, diehard fans will stick around. Diehard fans will order the pay-per-view no matter what. Diehard fans will watch the TV no matter what. Why don't you ask Doug? Ask him how much TNA he's watched in the past 3 months. Why don't you, I already told you how much TNA I've watched in the last 3 months. Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe here on YouTube. Haven't watched any pay-per-views, haven't been giving you any ratings. It's pathetic. It is truly pathetic. How much comedy do we have in TNA right now? How many more Jay Lethal segments do we have to put up with? Jay Lethal's a talented young athlete and the future of this business. And for the past 2 years, about 2.5 years now, we've had to see him do his corny ass Macho Man impersonations. Jay Lethal is stale. Incredibly stale. Black Machismo was over. Black Machismo got Jay Lethal noticed. But how long do you got to drag this out? How many more gimmick matches does the X Division need to have? I mean, how many more gimmick matches does TNA need, period? You need to establish some credibility for your belts. And that's done by having one-on-one matches, not by having a tear down. How about the Legends title? How about that? How's that going for you? It's a waste of time. A waste of time. I could go on all day. I'm not. It's late. I just wanted to get something out there. Doug and I have a long list of videos that we could be putting out about what's wrong with TNA, what they can do to improve, and we'll see how many we put out if we get time, but I just wanted to get something out there for now. Give me your feedback, let me know what you think. See you later.